I'd like to talk a little bit about the Knights of Columbus. We live in a society that claims to value diversity and tolerance. However, sometimes things bubble up in this town. It's apparent that some people are hated and the intolerance applies to them. And I'm speaking, of course, of the fact that about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago now, a U.S. Senator from California, at part of a confirmation hearing on a federal judge, decided to weigh in and feel that if you were a member of the Knights of Columbus, perhaps you shouldn't become a federal judge. Recently rereading the statements made there and the lack of outrage at what apparently was a religious test or close to a religious test to become a federal judge, I thought I'd like to talk a little bit about the Knights of Columbus, which are very active in my district. The Knights were founded as a Catholic group in 1882 in Connecticut, and currently there are about 2 million Knights, almost exclusively in the United States, but there are also some in Canada, New Zealand, and England, or Britain, and a few other countries. They have been active during that time, and they do a lot to help people. They seem almost ubiquitous in my district with all the fundraisers they have. A few weeks ago, I attended a meat raffle for the Princeton Knights of Columbus, in which they were helping out a Vietnam veteran who had cancer. And I want to point out that the Knights will help out not just Catholic people, but people who aren't Catholic as well. The Princeton Knights were also doing a chili fundraiser to help a gentleman with prostate cancer. Other groups I see around could be seeing the Cedarburg Knights selling Tootsie Rolls for Special Olympics or pregnancy health centers. The Fond du Lac Knights having fish fries for youth hockey and handicapped children. We see the Neenah Knights running concession stands at the Packer games, the Mayville Knights doing a calendar fundraiser for the local food pantry, the Oshkosh Knights doing a bowling fundraiser for Coats for Kids or Men for Christ. I mean, you see the good works that the Knights are doing everywhere. I wish I had time to go through all the other organizations and list exactly the fundraisers they have, but Two Rivers, Manitowoc, Sheboygan, Fredonia, Horicon, wherever I go, I see the Knights are active helping people out. I always kind of consider the Knights of Columbus kind of like mom and apple pie. You know, like you could stand here and congressmen would go out of their way to praise groups like the Knights of Columbus and be seen with the Knights of Columbus. But apparently they're not so much like mom and apple pie anymore. We have had members of this body, and not from small insignificant states, members of this body apparently now feeling that that is something to be attacked for. And of course it's not, they're helping out at Special Olympics or helping out at youth hockey that cause them to be hated or feel that they shouldn't be part of the public square. It's of course that they are active in the Catholic Church, a church that is pro-life, that apparently some members around here feel that the Knights of Columbus therefore should step aside and can't be trusted on making decisions as far as where we're going in the United States of America. Recently, Joe Biden came out actually and even said that this senator of California would make a great vice president. I mean, can you imagine that? Can you imagine 40 years ago in this country somebody saying that the Knights of Columbus, a member of the Knights maybe shouldn't be a federal judge, and say, well, that's a great thing, she says. Let's make her a vice president. I think that's a great thing. In any event, speaking on behalf of myself, I'd like to thank the Knights for all they do around the 6th Congressional District. I hope they continue to speak out on Christian issues, on Catholic issues. I hope the other clergy who may not be Catholic themselves, realize that they could be next to be targeted by these members of Congress. So, but again, thank you to the Knights of Columbus for all you do.